the education, and the support services for patients and help for their families who are dealing with this disease. And so at this time, I'd like to say that there are some materials on your table that are very helpful for you to look at. And there are also going to be an opportunity to pick up some materials about classes if you're interested in learning more. So now, welcome, Patricia, to the Rotary Club of Downtown Denver.
Thank you so much, Felice. And thank you so much, Dawn, and everybody here at the Rotary Club today. I really appreciate this opportunity. Can everybody hear me? Is this a good speaking voice for everybody? Okay, great. We're going to talk about Alzheimer's disease and other dementias today, and we want to leave you with a message of hope because there is a lot of good being done as far as research, support services, and also quality of life when it comes to living with Alzheimer's disease. So we'll leave you with that message. The first thing that many, many people who come to the Alzheimer's Association ask us is this memory loss issue that I'm having normal? Is this what happens as people age? Or is this something that I need to be a little more worried about? So let's go over what it looks like when we have normal age-related memory loss. Because this happens, it starts about age 40. And so most of us have some of these problems. Typical changes involved in aging. We might make a bad decision once in a while. That's not a huge deal, and usually we recognize when we made a bad decision, and hopefully we can rectify that. Maybe you miss an occasional monthly payment. Maybe you get a bill in the mail, you're used to paying your bills electronically, you have a bill in the mail that got shoved under a pile of other things, and it didn't get paid on time. That's nothing to panic about. Forgetting which day it is, and remembering later on, especially a week like this week, when maybe somebody missed work because of the weather, and you come to work on a Tuesday and you're all mixed up because you think it's Monday. Or you're having lunch with a friend, and you're talking about a film that you love, and you're trying to recall the actor's name. This is an actor that you love since you were a teenager, you've seen the film dozens of times, and neither of you can remember the actor's name. You go home later on, and you're thinking about something else, and all of a sudden the name comes to you. Robert Redford, how could I forget him? That's a good sign. A person with Alzheimer's disease, they don't remember the actor's name, they probably don't remember having lunch, and they don't remember the conversation they had with their friend. Sometimes forgetting which word to use. We all have good word days and bad word days. There are days when some of us feel more articulate than others, and sometimes we trip over our words. That doesn't mean you have Alzheimer's disease. And then losing things from time to time. Who here has never lost anything? I usually get one guy in the back who raises his hand. It doesn't matter if you're 9 or 99. We lose things sometimes. There is a difference when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. So let's talk about the 10 warning signs. And everybody should have already had a handout on the table that goes over these 10 warning signs. If you're noticing this in yourself or a loved one, write these things down and share them with your doctor. Noticing these signs are an important part of the diagnostic process. So let's talk about those changes that might indicate that something more serious is happening. Memory changes that disrupt your daily life. You're forgetting important appointments. You're not remembering the names of people who are very close to. These are changes that are disrupting your life. Challenges in planning or problem solving. We have a lot of business folks here. You probably have an agenda every day. You're a good planner. You're a problem solver. The person with Alzheimer's disease, it becomes much more difficult for them to do simple things like follow a recipe, keep an appointment, even a standing engagement that they've had for many years. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. And these are the simple things that you probably do every day. You're the one in your house who gets up early and makes the coffee. You don't even think about doing that task. And then you start having problems with actually making that coffee. You can't find the filters. You put too much coffee in, or you forget to put the coffee in. You can't figure out what button to push. That's an issue. confusion with time or place. Folks with Alzheimer's disease get very disoriented about night and day. They get disoriented about seasons. We've had some very harsh weather lately. A person with Alzheimer's disease could look outside, even open a window and feel the cold air, the sub-zero temperatures, and not realize that they need to wear appropriate clothes to go outdoors. Same thing happens in the summertime. They might bundle up in full clothes and go out in 98-degree heat. Folks with Alzheimer's disease get up in the middle of the night, they're showered, and they're getting dressed to walk out to a job they haven't had for 35 years. That disorientation is very, very common. Trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. I think this is one of the least understood and perhaps most problematic symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. Because of the global nature of the disease, it affects the entire brain. It affects the parts of our brain that help us to process what we're looking at. So theoretically, there's nothing wrong with your eyes when you have Alzheimer's, but it's the way that you're processing something. I have a friend, his name was Bill. He died about a year ago of Alzheimer's. He was 62. We call that younger onset Alzheimer's disease. He was diagnosed when he was about 57 years old. And Bill would always tell me, I would hang out with him once a week. I was on his caregiving team. His wife is a coworker of mine. And I would go over once a week and we would just hang out while his wife was teaching a class. And he would always say, my vision is perfect. I had LASIK surgery. And he didn't wear contacts or glasses. But I could literally put a beverage in front of him and say, here's your coffee, Bill. And he would look around that object, beside that object, and literally sometimes could not see it until I put it in his hand. Folks with Alzheimer's disease have problems with depth perception, speed perception, peripheral vision. And you can see this is a huge safety issue if the individual is still driving an automobile. Other problems, new problems in words or speaking. If the person has never been a big communicator, they've always been a quiet individual, you're not perhaps going to notice a huge change. But if you have a loved one in your life who's always been very gregarious, who's always liked to speak their mind, and now they're speaking less, or they're tripping over their words, and they're not able to follow a sentence or follow a conversation, losing their train of thought in the middle of a sentence, those are issues. Misplacing things. Okay, we all do that, we know that. But losing the ability to retrace your steps. Usually if we lose something, we stop, we think, now where is that? Let's see, my car keys. Oh, wait a minute, it was really, really cold yesterday. I had on my heavy parka. So you go and you look in the pocket of that jacket, and there are the car keys. Once you find those keys, you know exactly what they are. This key is to your front door. This key is to your car. This key is for your office. This is the library card for Jefferson County. You know what those items on the keychain are. A person with Alzheimer's disease, not only do they not retrace their steps, but they might find that item in a really weird place. Those car keys wind up in the microwave oven, or the purse winds up in the freezer. Sometimes they can't find the item at all, and they get a little suspicious of anyone around them. So they might suspect that the son who's been over to visit has stolen my purse, or my wife has taken my car keys. And so that paranoia and suspicion can kick in. Huge difference between just losing an item and being able to retrace your steps. Decreased or poor judgment. Again, we're talking about safety issues, being able to handle finances, huge issue for folks with Alzheimer's. Withdrawal from work or social activities. One of your other fellow Rotarians mentioned that the woman who passed away was a bridge player. She probably was able to follow the game. She knew all the players at the table. Everybody liked her as a partner. A person with Alzheimer's disease, even though they are a bridge player from years back, might decide that they can't play the game anymore. They're embarrassed because they don't remember the rules. They don't remember everybody at the table. And so instead of saying, well, I'm not comfortable with playing bridge anymore, they withdraw from that social activity. So that's a signal that something might be wrong. And then last but not least, changes in mood or personality.